Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. My name is Nikia, and today I wanted to just share a little bit about my journey that I'm currently on. I'm in the middle of trying to do something that I've never done before, just taking a completely different direction in my life. Um, but at the same time, I don't have anyone around me to look to for guidance that's done the same thing either. So it's been a bit of a interesting and very trying journey of trusting myself to choose a path that no one else around me has chosen. And I want to post this video mainly for myself as a reminder as to why I'm doing all of this in the first place. Because lately I've noticed that I've just been losing sight of all of that. And I also know that there has to be someone out there that's going through something similar. And I know when I was in the thick of everything a few months ago, I really wish that I had someone to tell me these things. So hopefully this can resonate with someone and they just feel empowered to just keep going and to trust themselves on their own journey. Okay, so in order to understand how I got to where I am now, I need to give a little bit of backstory. So in December of 2024, like right before New Year's Eve, I decided to quit my job. I did not give a 2 weeks notice. I did not have a backup plan. I just quit. And honestly, that was really out of character for me. I've always done what was expected of me. I've always known what I wanted to do in my life. And at the time, I was living in Boston and I was working as an embryologist in the IVF field. And I'd known that I had wanted to do that since high school. And I've spent almost like 10 years like trying to get my foot in the door and work my way up to the level that I have gotten where I was before I quit. And once I got there, I just felt like it wasn't all the bells and whistles like I thought it was supposed to be. Like I made it to this grand point in my career and I just felt really unhappy and unfulfilled. And I felt like I just didn't see the point in anything that I was doing anymore. I just didn't really care about anything anymore, including myself. And when I realized that I didn't care about myself or like what happened to me, that really concerned me. And I've never had that feeling before. And so I just kind of dove into survival mode, I guess. And I just felt like my mental health wasn't worth the job that I was in at the time. And I felt like I just needed to do what I needed to do to take care of myself before this escalated into something that I couldn't come back from. So I quit. I mean, I did try to find a job before I quit my job, try to find another job, but it just didn't pan out in time. And the longer I waited, the more unbearable everything felt. Like I would go to work and I just felt like I was suffocating. Like I would look around and just be like, what are we doing? Like, why are we doing this? Like, what is going on? And it just seemed like nobody was having a good time. I for sure wasn't having a good time. Um, and I just could not bring myself to see the point in why I was doing what I was doing. And that was a lot to reckon with, I guess, because like I said, I've known since high school that this is what I wanted to do. So after I quit, there was a period of time that I needed to grieve the life that I thought I was going to have. Like on paper, everything was fine. Like the job, it was a good job. It was a decent job. I made good money. I had just gotten a raise before I quit. I was making six figures. I had a nice apartment. Um, I, was traveling here and there. Like, I was, quote unquote successful. But it just wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And for a really long time, I just felt like I wasn't living my life for me. I felt like I was just living my life for others or just doing what I was told or what I was expected to do. Um, so after I quit, there was just a lot that I didn't realize that I needed to process and heal from. So, like I said, healing from the fact that I needed to grieve the life that I thought I was going to live. After I quit, I realized just I was super burnt out and I needed time to heal from that. Um, and then also, I just needed to regroup and just figure out what was next for me. Um, and so I dove into trying to find another job. Um, but at the same time, I was also playing with the idea of trying to start a business. Around COVID time, I came up with this business idea of starting a retreat business. Like, I want to host retreats for women. And I want to, like, focus on self-care and pouring into yourself, because growing up, whenever I tried to make space for myself to do that, I was always told that I was being selfish. And I know a lot of women get told that they're being selfish when they try to focus on themselves and prioritize themselves. And I think that stigma around that can be damaging to women. And I just want to empower women to help them understand that taking care of yourself is not selfish. And when you take care of yourself, you have more of a capacity to help others and take care of others. Like, you can't pour from an empty cup. And I felt like with everything that I was going through at the time, that was very reflective of like this business idea that I've held on to for all these years. So I was like, all right, let's just go ahead and try to get that going. So I left my job and then went immediately into job hunting and also trying to figure out how to start a business. And I've never started a business before in my life. So that was a lot. I mean, I did make some progress with it when I made that decision. A lot of things just kind of like showed up on my path that were supportive of that. Like, I got accepted into this free business course for women that's hosted online with Cornell. It's an entrepreneurship course for women. And I think I put my name on the wait list for that like a year or two prior to me quitting my job. And by the time I decided like I should try to start this business, like a day or so later, I got an email that I was accepted and the course was going to start in March. And I was just like, okay, cool. This seems like a good sign. We're going to go do that. And I was also in talks with someone to potentially do like a part-time embryologist gig back home in Florida, because I decided that I should leave Boston. It's really expensive to live there. I'm not working. I have some money saved up, but not enough to keep me afloat in Boston for an extended period of time. So I just kind of thought like, all right, things seem to be lining up, working out. I'm going to go home. I'm going to try to start this business. I'm going to work part-time, because in my job search, I was trying to find something that would give me the flexibility and the freedom to still focus on my business, because the job that I was in previously is IVF is just very demanding. It's healthcare. It's every day of the week, including weekends, holidays. So yes, you can have time off, but it's a demanding job. And I just wanted something that wasn't so demanding. So I thought everything was looking good. I even met a few people that were retreat owners or retreat business owners themselves, and they gave me a lot of insight of like how they got started and things that they do to keep their business running, things that they learned along the way, mistakes that they made. So I felt like I was, making some really good progress. And when I got home, I think the reality of everything that transpired just like hit me like a ton of bricks. I just kind of broke down. I was trying to maintain like this facade that I was okay and everything was fine. Um, I'm the eldest daughter, so eldest daughter syndrome of just acting like everything is fine and like Miss Independent, don't need help, I got it, everything's good, and everything was not good. And I mean, rightfully so. I made a major life change and didn't really give myself a chance to breathe after doing all of that. I was just like in go, 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 go mode like I normally am, and also survival mode because, yes, I quit my job and now I need to find a new source of income. But I also have like other bills and responsibilities to keep afloat. I put all my stuff in storage in Boston, um, because I was just like, I just need to get out of this situation and focus on myself and, just try to rebuild my life from scratch. But when I came home, I didn't anticipate like just everything coming crashing down all at once. And like I said, having to grieve the life that I thought I was going to live. And I mean, even reconcile with the fact that I had to go back home. Also, trying to deal with my own anxieties around like what's next for me and like the fear of the unknown and how I'm going to make these next steps forward. And then on top of that, I have like family and friends asking me a million and one questions of like, what are you doing? How are you going to maintain this? How are you going to take care of this? What's next? What's the plan? And I'm just like, I just need a minute. Like, I don't know. I'll figure it out. I always figure it out. But I need a minute to breathe. And I didn't realize how much time and how much space I needed to just sit with myself and process everything, because it was a lot. And I've just grown up like just suppressing my emotions and feelings about things. And once I got home, I couldn't do that anymore. It was a lot to just process and feel all at once. And honestly, I didn't really know how to handle it. I was trying to find a way to handle it in the best way that I could. So, about a month into me returning home, I realized very quickly that it wasn't really the most conducive environment to the path that I was trying to pursue. I felt like I just didn't have the space to really take the time to process everything that I want to do, and trusting myself and building up the courage to continue to make those steps towards that, while also looking for a job and feeling the pressure from my family of like, you need to get another job, while also just the pressure of all the things that I need to keep afloat that I already had established before I left, like, you know, car payments and cell phone bills and the storage unit, things like that. So then I realized I'm going to have to make a choice of, do I just continue to try to pursue this thing, or do I put that on pause so that I can go and find another job, keep everything afloat, and then we'll go back to pursuing the business. And I tried to do that for a while. I actually did find another job when I came home, but I hated it. I'm very much so a person that if I don't want to do something, I'm not going to do it. Like, and the job that I got was like some random job at like a rehab hospital that had just opened up in town. And I think it was just like a front desk clerk job. So while it was part time and it gave me the flexibility and the time that I needed, it was a little too part time where it felt like a waste of time because it's not giving me the income that I need to keep everything afloat that I need to keep afloat. Also, I just hated being there. Like I didn't like it. And I've already was in a situation that I wasn't having a good time in. So I was very hell bent on not doing the same thing twice. So I tried to stick it out for a little bit. And also while I was there, I was just getting really frustrated because I felt like I was wasting time doing something that I didn't want to do, being somewhere that I didn't want to be, when I know what I want to do is over here. And I just, if I can have the time to focus on that, I really believed in myself that I could get it going and get it off the ground. After about a few weeks of dealing with that, I made the decision to leave home again and come to North Carolina to stay with a friend. They had an extra room in their house and they offered to let me stay here. So I felt like that would be a better opportunity for me to just kind of get away from all of the energy that I felt like wasn't serving me, to move forward in what I wanted to do. And I felt like there was also just a little bit more of like better job opportunities in North Carolina than there were back home for me. So I came up here after being home for about 3 months. And once I was here, I kind of felt like I could breathe a little bit better, because just how I felt like I was suffocating when I was in Boston working at my job, I also felt the same way when I was at home, because there was just so much pressure from my family and some of my friends. It was, I felt like they were just kind of expecting me to just jump back in and show up in the ways that I've always shown up. And, like I said, I always kind of put on this brave face, like everything's fine. I don't need any help. I don't need, any assistance from anybody. And that was just no longer the case anymore. And there was just kind of a lot of tension and friction with certain people in my life that I don't think we could come to a common ground of the person that you come to know me to be. I'm not that person anymore. Being that person does not serve me anymore. Being that person cost me a lot because it required me to prioritize other people, other things, other situations. It required me to abandon myself. And over the years of me doing that, it resulted into me just being so unhappy that I felt the only way out was to make such a rash decision to just quit my job the way that I did. So when I came to Raleigh and I had some space between me and those situations and those people, I felt like I could see things a little bit more clearly, and I could, just breathe and get a new perspective on where I wanted to go in life and just focus back on that. And I still was trying to find another job, and after a while that kind of took priority. Naturally, you need money to survive. And so, I'm looking for a job, but I didn't want to do something that wasn't going to make me happy. Because like I've said, I've already spent so much time doing that. I'm like, if I just left an unhappy situation, like, why would I go back to something similar? I could have just stayed where I was at if that was what I was going to end up doing. So I had been looking and looking and looking for months to find another job. And then the anxiety started to get worse because now we're starting to run out of money. And I'm like, okay, if we're running out of money, how are we going to keep the car? How are we going to keep the phone on? How are we going to keep my stuff in storage? And sure enough, slowly but surely, things started falling by the wayside because I couldn't keep up with it anymore. And I think that really caused me to take a hit with my confidence, because I didn't anticipate for any of that to happen when I quit my job. Like I said, I was just like in survival mode. I had gotten to a place mentally where I didn't care about me or what happened to me. And I just knew that I needed to do whatever I could to preserve and save myself. And I was just confident in the fact that I would figure things out along the way like I normally do with everything else. And so I took that leap of faith in good faith that everything would work out. And then over time, I started to see that that's not what happened. What I hoped would happen is not what happened at all. And I did lose things. I actually lost everything. And so with that, I then started to doubt myself, and I started to lose trust in myself as to whether or not I could really build this business and I really could carve this new path out for myself in my life, because nothing had been going to according to plan this entire time. And on top of that, there were people in my life that, despite knowing that everything that I was going through, I don't know, it felt like they couldn't see the humanity in me and my situation, and just still had these expectations of me to just show up in a certain way. And that also really like messed with my head, because it made my circle really small. It made me feel like I couldn't share my goals with other people because they just didn't understand it, and they didn't agree with how I was going about what I was doing, or they just didn't like what I was doing, because like I said, I couldn't show up in the same way anymore. I'm already like anxious and freaking out and overthinking and beating myself up for the situation that I'm currently in, and doubting everything that I'm doing along the way. And then to have people closest to me like disagree or doubt me, it was a lot. It was a lot all at once. And I really just had to sit down and face myself and just accept the fact that just because I'm doing something that somebody doesn't understand, or something that they don't like or that they agree with, doesn't mean that I'm wrong. And it doesn't mean that I should stop pursuing what I feel called to do. We can agree to disagree, and if we can't come to a common ground about it, that's fine. That's totally fair. People are entitled to their opinions, and they're entitled to feel how they feel. But I can't keep continuing to put my dreams to the side, or even myself to the side, for the sake of making somebody else happy. I've spent my entire life doing that, and like I said, it's gotten me to a point where it made life unbearable for me. I couldn't do it anymore. And now in the most recent months, after I've taken the time to process all of the loss that I've experienced, process how my relationships with certain people have had to change or just dissolve entirely, I'm still left with this goal that I have that has not left me alone in the past year and a half. And no matter how many times I've had to put it on pause, no matter how many times that I've tried to approach it from different angles and have all this trial and error of getting through it, it's still what I feel called to do, and it's still what I'm passionate about, and I'm going to find a way to make it happen for myself. I essentially wanted to share all that because in the past few weeks, I have been kind of like mentally spiraling on whether or not what I'm doing makes sense, if what I'm doing is right, if what I'm doing is even what I'm meant to be doing. Because there is no blueprint for me to follow. There is really no right or wrong way to do it, because there's no one around to tell me what to do in the first place. It's really all up to me to figure it out. And I'm realizing that I just have to rebuild the trust within myself to accomplish my goals. I mean, before all this happened, I've always been a pretty determined person. Like, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure out how I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to stop until I figure out how I'm going to do it. I've, just always been very like sure of myself when it comes to what I want, and I've just never doubted myself this much in my life before. And I mean, I can understand why. Like, last year was a lot, and it was a lot back to back to back to back. Like, anytime that I thought I had a break to come up for air, like something else happened. So I think I do have to cut myself like a little bit of slack, because that's a lot for anybody to experience all at once in such a short period of time. And I think it's natural for people to just lose themselves sometimes, or lose sight of themselves sometimes. And I think I definitely did that last year, and probably for some time before I even decided to quit my job. But that doesn't mean that I can't find the confidence to pursue my dreams. That doesn't mean that I just have to give up on them entirely just because I'm freaking out about what's next, or like what's the right next step. Like, I get to decide that. I get to determine how all of this looks for me. And I think for a long time I was afraid of that, because it just felt like so much responsibility. Like, it's all on me. Like, it's up to me to figure everything out. And while I've always known what I wanted to do, there's always usually been some type of a blueprint or some type of a path that's already paved that I could follow to get to where I want to go. And now, where I'm realizing, like, well, it's all up to me, like, almost kind of like what I say goes. Like, at first that felt scary, but now I see the beauty in that, because I have so much freedom and I have so much flexibility to just make this how I see it being. Like, I have the freedom to recreate the vision that I see in my head every day. And I don't have to follow what somebody else did. Like, I could take inspiration from other people, and that's great, but I don't know, there's something that I'm starting to discover about having the freedom to just be your own boss and be the creator of your own reality and your own life and your own circumstances. And yeah, I'm essentially rebuilding my entire life from scratch, but it's not impossible. I mean, people do it every day. And I don't think I'm any different. I'm more than capable of doing it as well. And so I just wanted to share this because, like I said, it's been very trying. It's been very lonely and scary trying to embark on this journey. But at the same time, I feel like it's been very empowering, because every day I start to feel a little bit more and more like myself. And every day I can feel myself getting closer and closer to the life that I feel like I am meant to live, and the life that does feel like mine. And even though it came with a lot of loss and a lot of moments where I felt like I was being misunderstood, and all those things, they don't feel good, but also they don't kill you either. Like, they, as cliche as it sounds, it does make you stronger. And I do feel like I am a better person for all of it. Like, when I think back on it and I'm like, would I do all of this again? I think I would. Like, it did suck. It did suck for a really, really long time last year. But I can see why things had to happen the way that they happened. And I can see, like, the patterns that I just kept perpetuating that no longer served me. Or I could see, like, the projections from other people that I had no business carrying in the first place. And I think through all of that loss, it freed up space for me to just fully express myself and like just fully step into the person that I feel like I was always meant to be. I think there was just a lot of moments in my life where I shrunk myself to make others more comfortable with me and my presence or what it is that I'm doing in my life. So I hope that if there is somebody else out there that's in the same boat that I've been in, and you have something on your heart that you feel called to do, and it's all you think about, and it's not letting up, but at the same time you do doubt yourself, and you are trying to figure out how to make your own way, and you're unsure of where to start, how to start, or whatever the case may be. That's okay. Like, it's okay to figure things out. It's okay to do some trial and error. Like, you don't know what you don't know. I don't know why this society makes us feel like we just have to come out the gate swinging, knowing every damn thing, but you're a human, and it's okay to take time to learn things, and it's okay to change paths and decide that you don't want to do what you've been doing your entire life, or you don't want to be the person that you were made to be your entire life. Like, you get to choose and you get to decide how your life should be. And if that means that you have to do it alone for a while, it's okay. Like, you'll be okay. And I think if you just keep at it, you'll find the people along your path that are meant for you and that understand you and uplift you and support you, because sometimes some people will choose to just misunderstand you because they're stuck in their own ways, and they're stuck doing things that they themselves don't even want to do, but they've convinced themselves that that's the only way, and that's the only way it can be for them, and they can't do anything differently. And you doing something different may also trigger them, which, that's a projection that's also not yours to hold. Just because someone doesn't agree with you or like what you're doing, or has a difference in opinion of what you're doing, doesn't mean that you have to stop it just to make them happy, because you got to take care of you. You're responsible for you, just as they're responsible for them. And you're responsible for your own happiness. And so, if finding a way, no matter how long it takes, no matter how many times you fail at it, or whatever the case may be, if going your own way and deviating from the norm is what's going to make you happy, I think you should do that. And hopefully this video can be the beginnings of starting a community for more people that are in the same situation. I definitely do want to continue to share more of my journey as I go along and figure out what I'm doing next, and just taking the steps of carving out my own path. And hopefully, if that resonates with somebody, to just give them the courage to just keep going. I would love to be that for somebody, because I think that could have made a world of a difference for me when I was, dealing with everything last year. Like, I didn't give up on the dream entirely, but there were so many times where I was just searching online and just looking for people that have had a similar past as like what I had last year, but they still came out on the other side okay. Like, it didn't take them out. Like, they were fine, and they still managed to do the thing. And I don't know, sometimes you might just have to be the example that you're looking for. So this is me trying to be the example that I was looking for and what I needed last year. So again, I hope you liked this video. Stay tuned and follow along for more, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.